Hi, eighth graders. Even though I'm not here, I'm here. I am using the webcam function of the screencasting so that we can kind of get a sense of presence even though I'm not here. Let's start our class period. Hopefully Mrs. Irby's already taken attendance and you have received all your materials out of your workspace and you're seated and you're ready to go. We have got an extremely busy week ahead of us, kind of complicating things. I'm not going to be here today, obviously. I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, so I'm missing 2 out of 3 B days this week, which is not really all that great, but I'm hoping to make up for it like this. So how cool is this? I'm here even though I'm not here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to talk about our lesson plans. As I said, this is a really super busy week, and I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope you're rested, ready to go, because this week sees both books working together. You extremely busy. You're actually drafting an editorial, you're actually reading a story in the literature book, and you're balancing all of those things. So there's a lot to do. All right, so let's get started. I am going to get going here. So we have 3 B days this week starting today. If your class hasn't already corrected Unit 5 A through D, then you will have done that with Mrs. Irby. The next thing that we're going to be doing is reading the student model of an editorial in the Writing Coach book and answering questions and performing activities in Google Classroom. So you're already logged into Google Classroom because you're listening to this screencast and watching this screencast. There are some assignments in the assignment stream, including some extra credit if you pay very close attention that you could reap the benefits of. We also might get to watch the characterization screencast and copy the 7 definitions into your writer's notebook. If you move along zippily, you might actually get to that. So on Wednesday, Mrs. Howie will be here. If you did not get to, or if you need to start those 7 definitions and listening to that screencast, that will happen on Wednesday with Mrs. Howie. We'll also move toward choosing your editorial topic, begin some research and complete narrowing your topic, begin to write the draft in Google Docs. I'm not going to have you use the interactive essay score until the whole draft is done first. Our 6th graders really kind of lost their way as they were putting things in paragraph by paragraph, and that really became a problem. So we're going to have you build your whole draft first and then drop it in for either paragraph by paragraph or whole essay feedback. Okay? On Friday, I will be back. Wherever we are, we're going to start with The Telltale Heart in the literature books. We're going to read the very creepy Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. We will do some spelling bee practice because we will be qualifying for spelling bee next week. And then we will continue drafting our editorial in Google Docs. That completed draft is going to be due Tuesday the 9th. So if by Friday you're not ready to go, that's something you're going to have to take advantage of in a study hall somewhere, because next week we're really going to be working on qualifying for the spelling bee and then also working on the revising part of the editorial. So there really isn't going to be a whole lot of time to draft. So if you're not where you should be, that's really going to get you next week, okay? So balance it as best you can. All right, so we're going to get started with what the activity and questions are. It all deals with the student text or student model of an editorial entitled Texting Troubles by Dylan Ruiz. This is an 8th grade example of an editorial. This is written by a kid your age in your grade who is using all of the characteristics of an editorial to comment on problems that he experienced with texting. So what I would like for you to do is, if you have not already done so, you should be signed into the Pearson eText for Schools app. So you can pause this video for just a moment and open the Pearson eText for Schools app. You're going to want to log into the Writing Coach in the lower right-hand corner and download that book temporarily onto your iPad. The student model, you have 2. You have the physical copy of the student model that Mrs. Zerby gave to you, but you also have the option to hear it. So if it's something that's really important to you and you want to be able to listen to the audio, then navigating to page 176 so that you can read and listen to the text is something you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make sure that you grab a pair of earphones. So pause the video here, screencast here, and then go ahead and grab whatever you might need, earphones, whatever. Okay. All right, so I paused for just a little bit there. Your assignment is to read the student model Texting Troubles by Dylan Ruiz. You are going to open this assignment, looks just like the one that we're looking at, and make sure that you change your text to a readable shade of blue. We need to be able to differentiate your answers from my questions, so make sure that you change to a readable shade of blue. That means no sky blue, none of that stuff. That medium shade of blue, that electric blue that kind of sticks out from that black text is really what I'm looking for. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to listen to Texting Troubles by Dylan Ruiz, and then you need to come back to this video and the assignment. The video is really going to ask you, or the assignment's really going to ask you to pick apart the different things that we know an editorial has. You're going to locate the introductory paragraph, find strong wording that plays to someone's emotions. We did this with the lead in the water in the City of Flint, Michigan piece. We also did it with the professional author model on the technology. Was it cell phones? I don't quite remember which one that was, but we did that with the first example. We talked about what strong wording is there, what play to someone's emotions is there. And then I'm going to ask you to actually, just like you did in class for me, where we listed off those words, I want you to list words and phrases in the introductory paragraph that play to someone's emotions. Remember, the job of the editorial right off the bat to get your attention and make you care about what it is that they're commenting on. Also, number 6, please locate the thesis or claim statement. The thesis is what the author is trying to convince you of. It's their main point. The thesis is located somewhere at the beginning of the essay. Remember, I'm not talking about the first sentences because that job is to bring the reader in. So find the main idea or thesis claim statement toward the beginning of the essay. Write it down in number 6. Number 7, locate this person's supporting evidence for their argument. They've got something that they're arguing for or against. What do they do to support those arguments? What do they do to explain why they believe what they do? And what evidence do they present to support that? That's in number 7. Excuse me. Number 8, is there a counter argument? Are they making a nod to the other side of the fence? Remember, it's not all of a sudden arguing their side, it's just taking it into account and kind of disarming your opponent with what they were already thinking. Where is that? There definitely is one here, so get yourselves into finding where that counter argument is. Number 9, write the sentence where the thesis is restated in the conclusion. Before your piece is over, you want to remind your reader what you were trying to persuade them of. So it's starting and ending with the restatement of a thesis. Number 10, go back to your notes from Andrew Rosenthal's interview. What qualities does this editorial have? Write them down. Those should come right from your notes of 7 things that a really good editorial should have or tips to keep in mind. Number 11, locate the text patterns of editorials on the back board. In a minute here, I'm just going to bring myself back here. So behind me on the board, there are 2 different shapes, 2 different styles of editorial. Pick which one you think this particular piece has. It's kind of a dead giveaway. But what's really cool about the writing coach, and really what drew me to this book, is this particular writing book is put together by someone who believes really strongly that if you're given the building blocks of particular kinds of writing, that you can use those as templates to help you be successful when you have to go ahead and write your essay. So it's really important that we pay attention to what those building blocks are. We've given you 2 examples of what editorials can look like. Which one does this particular editorial follow? So once you have all of these filled out, then you're going to want to turn it in. Please don't turn it in unless you have everything finished. This particular assignment, today's February 1st, it's due by February 3rd. If you walk through the door and it's not done, it's late. You have this class period to work on this as high priority number 1. It needs to be finished. Now, the other thing I want to mention to you is, as you're reading this particular assignment, Texting Troubles by Dylan Ruiz, is going to ask you to interact with the reading, to look at things and points that you agree with, that you disagree with, that you like how things are stated, you like words that were used that appeal to emotion. Use the symbols on the left and the right to help interact. The copy that Mrs. Zerby gave you is one that you are welcome to write on for a reason, because we want you to start picking apart this model so that when it comes time for you to write yours, you'll be able to do that. On the left-hand side, we have the reader's eye symbols. On the right-hand side, we have writer's response symbols. There are really two different ways to look at it. You're reacting to the information as a reader, you're using the information as a writer. So take it seriously, because every time we give you something like this and then we ask you to independently turn a product out like this, the more seriously you take these types of activities, the better job you're going to do when it comes time for you to actually produce your own editorial. Okay, so that's it for part 1 of this class period. You need to read Texting Troubles. You need to answer all the questions. If you finish, turn it in. If you don't, make sure you make arrangements so that you can get yourself in so you can finish it. I'll be in on Tuesday, so if you need to see me, go ahead and do that so you can take care of getting things turned in. Okay? All right. See you later.